to view the Adobe Illustrator Stitch and Trim library, you have to go to the FTM 318 Moodle page. You're going to go under Helpful Resources, then go to Adobe Illustrator Help, and you'll see the Stitch and Trim library here where you can download it. Once you download it, you will be able to open and have access to all of the brushes that were created for your help. It goes through solid lines, 103 stitches, 401, 301, 404, which is a zigzag, 406, 602, marrow stitches, break open stitches, and goes all the way until flat stitches with the 607s. These correlate with the machines that are available to use downstairs. If you want a thicker stitch because these regular 301 stitches aren't showing up enough for you, then there are also 301s and 2 needle 301s down here that show up a little bit better. You also have your standard zippers. You have coil zippers, standard zippers, plastic zippers. You have different types of ribbing. You have different types of edge embroidery, beading, pearls, diamonds, knots, raw edges, things to use for gathering. And then you also have belts and ties, lace, different zipper pulls and buckles, buttons, and bows. Let's say I want to use a 406 stitch. So I'm going to use this 406 front and 406 back. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm copying it with Control C. And then in the file that I need to place it in, I want you to watch this brush library before I place it at the bottom. I'm going to paste it in, and those stitches are now going to show down here. So once you do that, you can delete the stitches. Let's say if I want to put a 406 stitch on the edge of my hem, I'm going to use my pen tool and I'm going to draw the line that I want to add the 406 to. Then once I do that, I'll select the line and select the brush that I want. So as you see, it changes this so that you don't have to use the dash effect. If you use the dash effect and you want to take it off or change it, it takes too long to get through all those menus. So that's why it's easy to just use brushes. As you see, I already have some 301s in here. There's some zigzag stitching. So let's go back to the 406. And in order to change the width of it, you can just play with the weight. So you can just make it smaller, and it'll make itself smaller as well if you play with the stroke. That if you are using stitching, for instance, if you had a t-shirt and you needed to show the outside of the garment, make sure you're using the 406 that uses the front. If you somehow see any of the inside of the garment, make sure you use the 406 back so that it is accurate to what it would be on the actual garment. Some other things that you can use are embroideries, ribbing. All of this uses the same way. So if you're trying to make some kind of ribbing, I'm just going to copy this over. Okay, I'm going to paste that so that ribbing is there. So let's act like this is a collar for a t-shirt. So this right here, I'm going to make that white. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is copy this down so that I have the original and draw a line that mimics the inside of the collar. Make sure it's clear. Going to make sure it fits inside of the collar panel. Okay, and then I'm going to make that the ribbing. You can play with the stroke of this and make it as wide as you want. And then once you have that, I'm still going to keep this old one and keep my new one separate. I'm going to keep the new one and I'm going to arrange it to the front. And I'm going to place it over top of this one. And then I'm going to make a clipping mask. And then I can place this over here and it looks like a ribbon. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to use zippers and zipper pulls. So let's take a zipper pull, as well as maybe we'll just do a plastic zipper. So I'm going to copy and paste both of them in here. I'm going to select this and make that the zipper teeth. Play with the stroke to make it a little bit bigger. And then you can just put your zipper pull on top. And it looks like a zipper. Now to make this a little bit more accurate, because it doesn't have zipper tape, you could make another rectangle, change this to whatever color you want the zipper tape to be. I'm probably going to remove the outline of that. And then you can make it as small as you want, however much of the zipper tape you want to show. And then you can bring everything else to the front of that so that it looks like zipper tape. Looks like it needed to be a little bit wider so that it looks like zipper tape. And then you can put your zipper on top. So then it looks more realistic like a zipper. Other things that you can do are buttons. These buttons are going to just go in as a regular button. So I'm going to paste these. With this one, you can play with the transform tools and make it smaller. Let's say we want to make a button on the bottom of our pocket. So just place the button there. And then we also have lace edging. So let's bring in one of these. Let's bring in a larger one. So we're literally just going to copy and paste it into here. So, and I am going to draw where I want the lace to be. Okay, I'll select the lace. I'm going to make it bigger. And then I'll play with the transform controls after that. So I can set this on the area that I want it to be. Other things, if you want to change the colors of things, for instance, if you want to change the color of a button, I'm going to copy and paste another random button in. I'm going to zoom in, and right now this is one full panel that's all together. So you have to click on the piece, click on it again until you have the selection that you want, and then you can change the color. Once you click off, you can see everything change. The same for the bows. You can change the colors if you click, but it's just one more thing. I guess I'll do the knots. So again, you can copy and paste those in. Those are going to go inside of the brushes. If your brush library goes away, you can always go to window and open it up. So this is at the bottom, and so these turn into knots, and you can always make them smaller so that you can put knots or whatever else on your garment. So yes, if you have any questions, let me know, but this is how you use and navigate through the Adobe Stitch and Trim library.